So, good afternoon, everybody. This is Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader, full of excitement because we are now only 4 days away, 4 days away from Amplify. And I've just asked for a show of hands, and everybody on here has put their hand up and said, yeah, they're going along. So, you're probably wondering what was this all about that I said, what's a real big must in UW? Now, if you think about what this business is, it's making contact, making phone calls, setting up appointments to show people how to make money and save money. Is that it in a very simplified version? That's the business, yeah? But there is another really important thing, and it's one that I think it takes a long time for people to really understand. And that one is about attending events. Okay. I am going to say this. I don't think you can really build a big business unless you do attend these events. I think it's like somebody tying your hands behind your back and you're trying to do this because there's an awful lot that you miss. Now, there's a lot of things I can say, and I'm going to share a very important screen with you. I think you can all see this. So 6 months from now, you will either have 6 months of excuses or 6 months of progress. Now, why have I put that there? There's a very good reason. National network leader Stephen Longworth, who's got a pretty massive business, put a lot of time in, and he's very, very good at content. I think he's one of the most inspiring people in the business that I know. He is amazing. He's written a couple of books, and for somebody that's dyslexic, that's pretty impressive too. Okay. And both of his books are incredible. I've got extra copies on my shelf because I think they're so good. But he always says those that attend the major events will be 6 months ahead of everybody else that doesn't. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So, have you ever been the recipient of, I actually call it Chinese whispers. I'm just going to mute because somebody's making a lot of noise in the background and I don't know quite who it is. So I'm going to mute. Hang on. Right, you can unmute yourselves when needs be. Have you ever sort of like heard some news and it's come to you through somebody else? Yeah. Do you get the whole news? No. Even if you got the news and you watch the news, do you think you're actually seeing what people actually saw at the time that something happened? No. Are we aware that the camera can always lie now? All right. You know, the camera never lies. That is definitely not true. There is all sorts of clever stuff that can go on. So even when we watch the news on the television, which I very rarely do, but if you do, you cannot be sure that you're seeing something that really happened. Is that true? Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So if you're actually there, you are seeing it live and you're seeing it with your own eyes. Now, I'm going to give you an example, which is a little bit kind of about 5 years ago, there were quite a few million of us that were constantly every month going up to London and we were marching for our freedom. Okay. And I was one of them, and I don't mind sharing that with anyone. And I can tell you, there was one particular time, and it was in May. It would have been May 2020 or May 2021. It's going to be May 2020. Yeah, it was. I'm going to now say to you, the whole day, I never saw the end of the queue of marchers, and I never saw the front of it, ever. And there were some authentic, truthful people that were up in a helicopter actually videoing it. And the estimates were about 1.5 million of us were there. I mean, it was the most incredible feeling I've ever known in my life. It was so powerful. The energy of people and their feelings was incredible. But what I'm going to say to you is mainstream media, particularly the BBC, said there was a couple of 100,000. Well, there's a hell of a difference between a couple of 100,000 and 1.5 million. Now, what's that got to do with amplifying? Well, I'm going to tell you now. For those that don't book, they are not going to have an idea at all what it's like. They're going to hear snippets here, snippets there. They're going to get a kind of very quick resume on a presentation afterwards, and it will be nothing like for those of us that are there. And I'm going to give you lots of reasons why you need to be there. And I know you are, but I don't know that you're picking up the phone and actually speaking to your team. Because that, again, is the powerful moment that you can express your intonation, your passion on why you need to be there. Now, I'm going to tell you, this company is so accommodating, it's not true. They lay on a special area for families so that kids, babies can be brought. They have up a massive screen so they don't miss any of it. If a baby needs feeding or something like that, they do everything in their power so as to get you there because they know the importance of it. And I'm now going to tell you that saying that Stephen Longworth says is true. Because what I've noticed over the last 2+ decades is the people that attend, oh my God, it's weird to see. You cannot believe how much activity they get into. And of course, when you do more activity, you get good results because you get better at it. You get consistent. It's like, you can't get a good body going to the gym once a month. You got to go sort of regularly. And what happens is people come to this event, they are so inspired, not just by what they see on the stage, but who they mix and mingle with often can be more powerful. Okay. And I see the results of those. I know who's been to the big events and I know who hasn't because it actually shows in their results. So there can be so many excuses as to why not, but actually, I'm going to say to you, what excuses are you making? Really? Because in a way, everything should be put aside and this should be treated, I'm going to say it, this should be treated as if it's your daughter or son's wedding. You wouldn't let anything get in the way, would you? You know the date, you've been given it about a year in advance. You put it in your diary, you ain't going to let, whatever it is get in the way, nothing. And even if your car broke down, I'm sure you'd find a way of still getting to that wedding. I'm absolutely sure of it. You would not miss it. Can you see how you can treat this the same way? So the kind of things I've written down here are there's energy. And energy is something that is very, is the word ephemeral? I think the word is. Yeah. It's a hard thing to put on. Do you know when I walk in a room, I often know the difference I can make to somebody? Because when I go to an appointment in person, it's so often it's not true. It's not a shake of the hand when I walk out. People give me a hug because somehow in that period of 2 hours or so, I've built rapport. And rapport is energy, energy on energy, aligning. All right. And this is what happens in an event. You can feel the spirit. You can feel, oh, it's just phenomenal. People that have never been and they go for the first time, I think it's like one of those, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. They can feel integrity too. Yeah. What happens is you kind of you go with a few people, then you bump into people and you find you start sharing tips and ideas. And it's a fantastic way, if you haven't got one, if you haven't got a team, if you think, to find a team you can buddy up with or buddy up with a person. Absolutely phenomenal. The other thing that I think is wonderful is you can hear from the very best people in the business and what they're doing and achieving. And it is fantastic because you can have what is called the light bulb moment. You might have been plodding along and you think you know what you're doing and all of that. And then all of a sudden you hear someone that is brilliant and they say something and you go, oh my God, the penny's dropped. I get it. I didn't realize that. And you wouldn't have ever got that if you'd not been there. So you can hear from the very best people. This is a hard one, folks. Those that are attending, and this is why I wanted to be on the leader call first, those that are attending are going to get extra stuff. And the company started it off massively with Power Up and the previous Amplify. Do you remember at the previous Amplify, you had to be there, all right, in order to have a chance of all these advent calendars, 5 of them, weren't there? Amazing. In fact, there was so much chocolate, I decided this year I had to set up another little incentive to give some of mine away. I had to give it away. But the thing was, it was only the people that attended, right, got this. Now they've already given us an inkling because us leaders have received information that this time it's going to be much bigger. And I don't want to see people lose out. I really don't. And I'm sorry, guys, you cannot buy the ticket and you've got to attend because, you know, they do the whole scan thing, don't they? You can't buy the ticket and make out you've been there. No, you've got to be there. So whatever happens, you've got to get this sorted. All right. Because this time, oh, I know there are going to be some ever so disappointed people that don't turn up. They really, really are. They're going to be going, oh, well, if I'd known that, I'd have made sure I did turn up. Well, I am giving you that opportunity now. Okay. Really am. Another thing they do, which I've noticed over the last few times, is they give you a chance to have double points. They give you more points, don't they, on achiever stuff. Yeah. And that happens because you've attended the big event. I'm going to now share with you something that went out over the air a little while back. Forgive it because it's about Power Up, but I think it's poignant. I'm going to shut up and let somebody else who's another senior group leader tell you all about it. So let me just find what I'm looking for. And okay, I've done that. So now I've got to share. You don't have to be particularly clever, you know, to do this business. Right, it's not that one. It is... Come on, where is it? No, it's not that. Hang on. I have got it. I know it's there. Can I ask you, can you see a picture of Dan Holmes with a library behind him? Can you give me a thumbs up if that's what you can see? Brilliant. Here we go. Hopefully this will play. Here we go.
Together so far, it's great to have opportunities like this to learn from those who are achieving amazing things at UW and discover their secrets to success. But I believe nothing will ever replace the live in-person events. I joined UW back in 2016, and yet 5 years in, I was still a team leader. I believed in UW and what it could do, but I just wasn't taking enough consistent action. But then, I had a breakthrough moment when I was at a live in-person event, and I made the decision to take massive action, really. That's how I went from team leader to senior group leader in 17 months. Now, I'm fortunate to have been around some of the top leaders in our profession. And one of the things that they've drilled into me is this. If you're serious about growing an income and a business that can give you some serious choices, never miss a major event. And our next major event in UW is Power Up. Let's take a look at the energy you're going to feel at Power Up.
When you come to an event, you get to see that there's such a massive opportunity for yourself and for the people that you care about to kind of change their lives.
I like just coming and mixing with positive people. They always inspire and lift us up. Your activity goes up.
This is our first time ever at Power Up. This whole experience has been quite life-changing. I think we are taking a lot of lessons with us to home.
Seeing thousands of people here and how much passion there is, it's amazing. It's really exciting. It's absolutely amazing. I love the atmosphere. You can meet all of your UW friends from all over the place. They're just lots of fun.
We've got 1 million customers now. We're going to get the next million in the next 5 years. I want a part of that. It's brilliant. You come out and you are inspired.
I've driven over 3 hours to get here and it's well worth the drive. It's another level. It's amazing to be here.
You haven't seen anything until you've been to one of these big events.
Power Up takes place on...
Right. I thought I'd show you because that's like, it shows you the kind of auditorium. Now, this time it's at Coventry and it's a massive stage at Coventry. It's really wide, okay? And there's going to be just so much going on also in the wings. And one of the things that it does is it shares in recognition. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, well, yeah, you know, few people applauding me, go across the stage. No, no, no. Can I tell you that people will often say how stunning that moment feels, that for all the efforts they put in, they're getting recognised. All right. Now, I've had a text message about 2 hours ago come in telling me that I'm part of Charge. And Charge is because I've, ever since January, every single month without fail, I have achieved a minimum of 4 achiever points. All right. And that means that I've got free energy and I'm already having that free energy. And some would say, so what? And I'd say, well, actually, do you know what? Sometimes what you don't realise is the people that are up there, they inspire other people that haven't got up there. Now, when I can go back to, this is nuts now, I'm going to go back 22 years, right? Because it's 23 years this November I've been in. And it was a whole year before my late husband and I attended a major event. And in those days, funny enough, it was September. What we call Power Up used to happen in September. It was known as Express Day. And there wasn't intermediary events. So there was just one big event. And it was held at the Hilton Hotel in Birmingham. And there was about 1,000 people in one auditorium. And then in another auditorium, there was another 1,000. And they had this swivel stage where the walls moved round. And that year, the celebrity was the magician. Oh, what's his name? He's not here with us anymore. Oh, I've forgotten his name. Little chap.
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels, thank you so much. It was. And it was Paul Daniels. And he literally, he was in one room, and then either side of this big stage were these massive screens. So even if he was talking to the other room, you could see in this room, and then vice versa. And I remember turning up with my late husband and going, oh, flipping heck. I think we've joined quite a serious business. Because I'd been in a whole year, but the penny hadn't really dropped, partly because you work on your own, don't you? And although there are other people, and there was like Rob Barris, and I didn't actually realise it was like major. Now, looking back, there was about 100,000 customers then, and now we've got 1 million, I think it's nearly 200,000 customers. So it's absolutely massive. All right. And all I know is that I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, oh, I wish I'd taken this more seriously the last year. Honestly, that was my absolute feeling. And it spurred me to go nuts, to absolutely go nuts and like, no. So what some would say, if you're not attending the big event, the wedding, then you're not actually in the family, are you? Is that a good analogy? If you think about it, you wouldn't miss, would you, your daughter or your son's wedding because they are family coming together? Why would you miss something that is going to improve your life so much? And being there is being part of the family and experiencing it. And to me, that's the biggest analogy I can give you. I couldn't miss it for the world. You know, I hear people say, I mean, there is some in my team, oh, sorry, I went and booked my holiday. I forgot all about it. Oh, right, really? Okay. I'm sorry, but it goes in the moment it's announced that day, it goes in my diary. And everything else is worked around it. Everything. Okay. Even so much as I've had to delay something really important. And I'm sharing this all with you because I am your leader. Okay. I have a house in Spain that Utility Warehouse has enabled me to buy. And I bought it as far back as 2007. But as you all know, there was something called a pandemic that happened. And my husband and I were not prepared to have those injectables to be able to go to the house. And so that went on for 2 years. And then I had my mum have a heart attack. And then my dad slipped, broke his hip, and he got worse and worse. And I had a whole year of taking him to Southampton Hospital, which was 2023. And then he died on Christmas Day of 2023. So that was more time taken up. Last year was an absolute whirlwind of all sorts of stuff. It has been 5 whole years since I've been out to my house. And you're probably thinking, why is she telling us this? I'm telling you because actually I haven't let anything get in the way. I've decided that all the stuff had to be dealt with. I couldn't miss events. I couldn't miss, this year. I couldn't miss Power Hour, and I can't miss Amplify. So what's happened is we're now going in October. So guys, I will be gone for nearly a month. In fact, I think we're going on the 9th of October and we won't be back to the 3rd of November. The house is going to be thoroughly decorated. I'm taking all new bed linen and everything with us. And why am I telling you this? Because October is the month where, in the scheme of things, there is nothing of major importance with UW. The big event will have happened. My very last massive 20K will have happened, the Romsey show. But there is something I am missing, and it is dear to me. I am missing my beautiful little grandson's second birthday, little Ruko. But something had to give. And even my daughter said, Mum, I understand. You cannot miss utility warehouse big events. And do you know what all my family have said to me? And you'll probably think, wow. The reality is it's given me a lifestyle of massive choices. And I'm able to take a whole month off. Now, my husband's going to take a month off, but he's self-employed. He won't earn a penny while he's off for that month. Nothing. Zero. But it doesn't matter because the money that I've accrued through passive income doesn't matter. It covers everything and more. And that comes through the choices that building a business like this has helped. And I'm going to say that those events, nothing would have ever come about had I not attended the events. And I will not miss the events. So I've already got power-ups, dates in the diary. I don't know where it is yet. We still don't know, but they're in the diary because that's how important it is. So guys, if you haven't spoken, never yet, you guys are there, you're coming. But if you haven't spoken to your team about this, you've got to. It's no good texting them. It's no good emailing them, WhatsApping. I promise you, they're not reading it. They're not reading that stuff. You've got to pick up the phone and speak to them. And it is quite a shock sometimes when you pick up the phone to someone and you find out they haven't been looking at anything you sent them. Not a sausage. And then all of a sudden, the worst is when they go, oh, sorry, when's that? And you think, what? Because they haven't looked at anything at all. Nothing. But you could just make the difference for somebody. Do you know what? Them attending this could completely transform their lives forever. There could be something that they hear that makes all the difference. So I'm going to say, if you wish to ask any questions about this, not something else, would you like to ask now? Yes, Fran.
I'd just like to say that we're going on holiday to America next April, and I've made everyone go the week, in fact, the Monday after that, I'm going to Amplify, to Power Up in April. So we're delaying an America holiday to go on the Monday so I can go away for the weekend because I've missed my first one because I was on holiday when I booked it when I joined. So I missed the September one, but I've been to everyone since and I would never miss it.
Okay. Now,
Says it all.
I'm going to say I've had someone in my team who actually moved the date of her wedding to attend. Honestly, that really did happen. Yeah. And I don't know if any of you watched the Big Night In. I happened to be on it this time. Okay. Not because I'm proud I was on it. I was actually relaying about a new partner I brought in who was so wanting to get at least another homeowner customer in before the 31st of August. I think it was nuts the way we set it up. It was like it happened. This guy, I didn't know him from Adam because it was her eldest son, Cameron's best mate, who lives in Bristol, called Ethan. And then she was already out there. And then she'd only just got off the plane and she's like, can we get this sorted? So she was talking through WhatsApp because it's free. And she sent me his details. So I made the phone call to this chap, Ethan, who actually, surprisingly, was like, yeah, no, I'm keen. I understand this could be good. Cameron's told me I really ought to have it. So I said, look, we've got to allow for 5 hours behind because she's out there. And so we came upon that night, that Wednesday, we went with 7 p.m. his time, which was 2 p.m. her time. Now, what happens, as happens, they're in the theme parks. I don't know where Typhoon is. I don't know which one it is. But she said, I can't miss this. So she wanted to go back to the hotel. And the family all said, no, we're not going back to the hotel. So she found a fairly quiet spot in the theme park where there was some good signal. And she set up her phone and off we went on the Zoom call. Now, why am I bothering to tell you this? Because it was that important to her. She made the provision. Now, can I tell you what else she's annoyed at? This holiday was pre-booked and she doesn't get back till 6 o'clock on Saturday the 6th.
So,
And she is absolutely fuming she's missing it because she's hearing she's going to miss out on stuff. And she is. She's only trying, bless her, to see if she on her own can get an earlier flight. Now, if that isn't commitment, I don't know what is. Okay, so I'm just saying that the people that will be there are going to be so chuffed. And in fact, us leaders have had this rather weird message from Steve Critchley, you know, the top partner. And I'm going to say this, he's a bit old in the tooth these days, a bit long in the tooth. And he doesn't get very excited about much these days. Well, you wouldn't, would you? You know, when, you know, you're this industry, you've been in it. But oh my God, he has just sent this message, which has blown us all away. And we're like, whoa, we can't wait for the leader call at 6 o'clock. And that's why I wanted to do this afterwards, because evidently something's going to happen at Amplify that has never happened before. And I just want you to ensure you tell your teams as much as possible. Now, I know for some people it's hard because there's family commitments, all the rest of it. But you know what? If you can load up a car and get yourself all up there and get your team to do the same. Alina brought her family to Power Up. She's there. In fact, a kid's husband, yeah. We met, didn't we, afterwards? And I think you were really pleased you went, yeah? So all I can say is pick up the phone, guys. Even if you think they're a dead loss, pick up the phone and see how many more you can get there, because they're going to thank you for it, okay? So the good news is next week, Tuesday, I'm going to be doing, obviously, all about the announcements and how to apply it. Okay, so same time, same place next week. See you then.
see you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Yes, see you Saturday. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.